Is Talon worth the hype? For those of you unaware, last Friday, the pilot to the much anticipated Talon series finally dropped. After several years of development and build-up, this project founded on pure passion and dedication has finally managed to see the light of day. And, oh boy, there's a lot to unpack here. Not only is this a new highly anticipated indie project, but a almost anime-esque style project with a lot of fantastical elements, which in theory have never been done on this big of a scale by this small of a team. What do I mean? Well, in order to answer that, we need to take a look back at the pilot and answer the question, was Talon worth the hype? Hey guys, it's the Pig King here, and if you haven't seen my last video covering this series, Talon was something I only became aware of when the trailer dropped about a month ago. It was certainly a huge surprise, considering the fact that it was a fantasy dinosaur series with heavy anime influence, and it was completely free to watch on YouTube. This, simply put, was a pleasant surprise for myself that got mine and many other people's attention. So, I finally got a chance to watch the pilot, and after watching it all for myself, what did I think of it? Well, it was a bit of a rough one, but ultimately a success. Now, let's start with the positives, and thankfully there are quite a few here, like the music. The soundtrack here is absolutely gorgeous, with a clever use of the flute-type sort of instruments that really help to give this series its own unique vibe and style. The music here really complements everything that's going on. I must say, the music was probably my favourite part of this entire pilot. It really sucked me into the story and the world and helped to amplify certain key moments. Another thing that really surprised me here was the animation, because this isn't a series with a simplistic style. No. You can't just simply toy around with these designs with squash and stretch. This series is a very on-model kind of show, with very detailed and well-made designs. I was genuinely scratching my head at so many points because some of these shots were genuinely incredible. How they were able to have such smooth animation for such complex and detailed designs. It really shows that the team here really have done their homework, and that's a great thing to see. They know what they're doing here with this animation. It's not always great, if I'm being honest. There are moments where you can tell, oh, it's just a PNG, but you know, that's just a part of the charm of something like this. I love seeing those little things where you can just tell. And for the most part, it's really solid. And again, I have to emphasize just how beautiful this all is, because not only are the characters nicely handled, but the backgrounds, man, those backgrounds, they are genuinely stunning. With a lot of lush forests and colourful skies, they're just a real feast for the eyes. Like, I could look at each one of these frames and find something new to appreciate in them. And if you recall, I said that this series was anime-esque, and it very much shows. The creators managed to bring their love of anime into this series flawlessly, with a lot of quirks, gags, and little details that you would see from anime in here too. And the best part is, it all feels natural, because those simple additions are used sparingly. They don't overtake anything or distract from anything, so not only do they have a bigger impact, but it doesn't take away from what's going on. But what about the characters? After all, a good pilot should be able to establish its main characters right off the bat, in a way that gets us wanting to see them more. Well, Talon was a bit of an interesting case, because Lunar Dragon's main goal, according to their website, was to create relatable characters in similar vein to how it was done in the 80s up to the early 2000s. And that definitely is apparent here. Talon as a character just reeks of that era's protagonist. They're kind-hearted, playful, a bit of a runt, and also are the reason behind their parents' death.
Asriel? Are you dead?
So yeah, do not expect much from these characters yet beyond the archetypes, like the goofball protagonist. These characters aren't that complex, and they do not have much to them just yet. But I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, because they gave us just enough to the point we want to see more. After all, Talon's mother dies, and that causes a massive rift between Talon and their sibling. And that's something I want to know more too, because the way they handled these two relationship, as brief as it was, it was very sweet. It was very interesting. I want to see where this goes. It was very nicely handled, and that's all thanks to how they visually tell the story. Even before the dialogue, everything that they are showing easily comes across through the visuals alone. They are very good at visual storytelling. And I have a feeling that these two characters' bond is going to become a strong component to the actual series when it drops. But as I said in the beginning of the video, while this pilot for the most part is solid, it has one glaring flaw. And I think most people have already noticed it, that being the pacing. This pilot has a really bad case of getting as much done as possible, as they try to establish or set up everything in the series as soon as they can, with stuff like exposition about aliens, champions, and the idea of aura. There's a lot being thrown at us in such a little time, when in reality, they didn't really need to do that. Because in doing so, this pilot is constantly moving, unable to take a break, resulting in some of the more serious moments just not hitting as hard as you'd want them to. Like the death of Talon's mother. We didn't really have enough time to form a connection to Talon and his mother, and thus her death is moved on from fairly quickly. And I get what they were trying to do here. They wanted a very Mufasa-esque death here. Really heighten the emotion and make it feel like it's the main character's fault. But what made that death feel impactful was the fact that we got to see them together before the accident and their bond develop. And the death really takes its time to leave an impact on the viewer and just let it sink in. But in Talon, they're constantly moving so much that these emotional moments, simply put, have no breathing room in them to really hit with the audience and what they're trying to do. And I know it's a pilot and they need to get people invested, but you don't have to show all of your cards right away. One of my personal favourite pilots of all time is the very first episode to Ben 10. In that episode, they managed to properly establish the characters, the gimmick of the show, and hint towards the world without needing to instantly tell us all about Vilgax, Kevin, or even the larger universe as a whole. They show us just enough that gets the audience guessing and wanting to know more about the world without needing to spell it out right away. Natural breadcrumbs that don't take away from the first episode's smaller story. So for me personally, I feel like they should have taken a similar route here and kept things simple here, and just give enough breadcrumbs that we want to see more without sacrificing the first episode in order to do so. Take your time and really get people wanting to know more without having to show everything right away. But despite my criticisms with this pilot, I'm not going to hold it against it too much. As after all, it's an indie show and it's a pilot. It's allowed to be rough and testing the waters, so I can forgive this easily, as long as they work to improve the pacing moving forward, because now they've gotten all of this stuff off their chest, they've established that all of this stuff exists and that it will be covered later on, so now I hope that the next few episodes are better paced than this, and that they can actually naturally progress. Because I cannot wait for what they cook up next. I am very excited with what they do here, because this series has a lot of potential to be something really big, and I'm very much hooked to see where they go next. So, if you haven't seen the Talon pilot yet, be sure to go watch it. I'll leave a link to it in the description of this video. Be sure to go over there and subscribe and let them know the Pink King sent you. But what do you guys think? Are you excited for the future of Talon? Or do you need a little more convincing? Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. I'm very interested to see what you guys think about this. And if you enjoyed today's video and want to see me cover more stuff like Talon, then be sure to like this video and subscribe. Doing so not only tells me you want more content just like this, but it actually helps me make that content for you guys a lot faster. So, be sure to like this video, subscribe, and with that peeps, it's been the Pink King here, and I will see you all next time.